The classroom fell silent as Teacher Velnash displayed the holographic images of ancient Earth. Young alien children stared with wide eyes at the blue and green planet that once existed in the Sol system. Their faces showed a mixture of curiosity and fear as they looked at pictures of humans. These were the Terrans, Velnash explained in her calm voice. They lived 500 years ago. They were very dangerous creatures who loved to fight. They made terrible weapons and destroyed their own world with fire from the sky. A small Keltharian child raised her hand. Teacher, why did they hurt their own planet? Velnash nodded sadly. Because they could not control their anger, little one. Humans were born to fight. They fought everyone, even themselves. That is why they are gone now. The galaxy is much safer without them. The children nodded in understanding. They had heard these stories many times. Humans were like monsters from old tales. Scary, but not real anymore. Far away from that classroom, in the cold darkness between stars, Commander Hyunwoo stood at the window of his ship. He watched the lights of alien vessels moving through space like tiny stars. His face was hard and lined with scars. His left arm was made of metal and wires, replacing the one he lost long ago. The ship around him was called Resilience. It was not like any ship the aliens knew. 500 years of hiding had taught humans to build differently. The wall seemed to breathe softly. The metal was alive in ways that would confuse alien scientists. Commander, a voice called softly behind him. Dr. So Young approached with a data pad in her hands. Her eyes glowed slightly in the dim light, a sign of the changes humans had made to themselves over the centuries. What news from the outer colonies? Hyunwoo asked without turning around. All stations report ready status. The sleeper agents in Federation space have confirmed their positions. Jin-Ho sends word from the Rigel sector. The aliens still think he is one of their hybrid workers. Hyunwoo smiled grimly. Jin-Ho had spent 15 years pretending to be part alien. His genetic changes let him pass their medical scans. It was hard work, but necessary. And our fleet status? 200 ships ready for the first phase. General Tai Jun reports that the asteroid bases are fully supplied. Dr. Ji-won has finished her analysis of Federation technology. Hyunwoo finally turned from the window. His dark eyes held the weight of centuries. What did she find? So Young touched her data pad. The aliens have grown soft, Commander. They have good energy weapons and strong shields, but they fight like they did 500 years ago. They never learned new ways because they had no enemies to teach them. This made Hyunwoo think of the old days. He remembered when Earth burned. He was just a boy then, running through the ruins of Sol with his family. They had escaped on one of the last colony ships before the nuclear fires consumed everything. The aliens thought all humans died that day. They were wrong. They study us like ancient history, So Young continued. Their military schools teach about human tactics as examples of what not to do. They call us savage and stupid. Good, Hyunwoo said. Let them think we were fools. They will learn the truth soon enough. The commander walked to his command chair. Around him the bridge crew worked quietly. Each person had been born in space, far from Earth. But they all carried the memory of home in their hearts. Captain Minho was on a different ship, far away near the center of Federation space. He pushed a cargo loader through the busy docks of Station Nexus 7. Aliens of many species walked past him without a second look. To them, he was just another worker. Minho had changed his face and body to look like a half-breed alien. It took years of painful treatments, but it worked. He could walk among the enemy and they saw nothing strange. He listened as alien traders talked about their business. They spoke of mining operations on former human worlds. They laughed about taking resources from dead planets. Their words filled him with quiet anger, but he showed nothing on his face. A Zephyrian merchant was bragging to his friends. My company just opened 3 new mines in the old Terran colonies. The humans left so much good metal behind when they died. We are making huge profits. His friends nodded and smiled. Those violent apes did one good thing, another said. They found all the best mining spots before they killed themselves. Minho kept pushing his loader, but he remembered every word. The aliens had built their wealth on human graves. Soon, they would learn the cost of their greed. Back on the Resilience, Hyunwoo opened a secure channel to the hidden human fleets. Green lights appeared on his screen, each one representing a ship full of his people. 200 vessels, scattered across the galaxy like seeds waiting to grow. "My friends," he said into the communicator, "today we begin the end of our exile. For 5 centuries we have lived in shadows. We have watched as aliens took our worlds and forgot our names. They think we are myths now, stories to scare their children." He paused, thinking of all the humans who had died waiting for this day. "They will remember us. They will learn that humans do not stay dead. We are the children of Earth and we are coming home." The signal went out across space, carried by quantum relays that the Federation could not detect. In hidden bases and secret colonies, humans received the message. Sleeper agents in alien cities heard the call. Ships that looked like asteroids came alive with purpose. Dr. Yoonji sat in her laboratory on a small moon orbiting a red star. She had spent decades studying alien biology, learning their weaknesses. Her research would help human soldiers survive in the coming war. She looked at samples of Keltharian blood under her microscope. These aliens were strong but had poor immune systems. A simple virus could cripple their armies if designed correctly. The galaxy was about to change. The aliens had forgotten that humans were survivors. They had forgotten that humans learned from their mistakes. Most importantly, they had forgotten that humans never gave up. Hyunwoo closed the communication channel and looked out at the stars. Again, somewhere out there, human children were learning to fight. Human scientists were building new weapons. Human soldiers were preparing for war. The legends were about to become real. The Federation patrol ship Bright Star moved slowly through the empty space near the rim worlds. Captain Zektar was bored. He had been patrolling this dead zone for 3 months without seeing anything interesting. The crew was restless and, "Wanted to go home, sir," called his communications officer. "We are getting a distress signal from mining station Delta 7. Zektar sat up in his chair. Finally, something to break the routine. "What kind of distress?" "Emergency beacon only. No voice message. Could be equipment failure or pirates." The captain nodded. Pirates had been more active lately in the outer systems. "Set course for Delta 7. Maybe we can catch some criminals today." What Zektar did not know was that 3 human ships were watching his vessel from the shadow of a nearby asteroid. The ships looked like space rocks, their surfaces rough and dark. No alien scanner could tell them apart from real asteroids. Lieutenant Haewon sat in the command chair of the lead ship. Her eyes had been changed to see better in the dark. Her hands moved over controls that responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. "Target is moving toward the bait," she reported quietly. "All teams ready." "Confirmed," came the reply from her squad leaders. "Boarding parties in position." The Bright Star reached the mining station an hour later. The station floated dead. In space, its lights dark and its communications silent. Captain Zektar ordered his ship to dock with the station's main airlock. "Take a security team and check it out," he told his first officer. "Probably just another power failure, but be careful." As the Keltharian security team entered the dark station, they had no idea they were walking into a trap. The mining station had been empty for years. Humans had simply turned on its distress beacon and waited. The alien soldiers moved through the corridors with their energy rifles ready. Their night vision goggles let them see in the darkness, but they saw nothing dangerous, just empty rooms and powered-down equipment. What they could not see were the humans hiding in the walls and ceiling spaces. Haewon and her team had been waiting inside the station for 6 hours. They knew every corridor and every hiding spot. The trap was sprung quickly and quietly. The human soldiers dropped from ceiling vents and emerged from wall panels. They moved like shadows, their modified bodies letting them crawl through spaces too small for normal people. The alien security team never had a chance to call for help. Human weapons made soft sounds, not the loud noise of energy rifles. The Keltharians fell one by one, their bodies paralyzed by human dart guns. "Bright Star, this is Security Team 1. Haewon spoke into the dead officer's communicator. She had learned to copy alien voices perfectly. "Station is clear, just equipment problems. We need 2 hours to fix the power systems. Understood, came Captain Zektar's voice from the ship. Take your time. While the aliens waited, thinking their people were repairing the station, human boarding teams moved through space toward the bright star. They wore suits that bent light around them, making them almost invisible against the stars. The human soldiers attached to the Federation ship's hull like insects. They found airlocks and maintenance hatches that the aliens had forgotten about. Slowly and quietly, they entered the ship. Captain Minho led the main boarding team through the Bright Star's lower decks. His enhanced hearing let him track the movements of the crew above. 26 aliens total, most of them at their duty stations. The humans moved through the ship like ghosts. They had studied Federation ship designs for decades and knew them better than their builders. Every corridor and every system was familiar to them. The taking of the ship was swift and silent. Human soldiers appeared behind alien crew members, like nightmares. Dart guns whispered in the darkness. One by one, the Federation crew fell unconscious. Captain Zektar was the last to fall. He was studying navigation charts when he felt a small sting on his neck. He turned to see a figure in dark armor standing behind his chair. "What are you?" he managed to ask before the paralysis took hold. "We are the return of legend," Minho replied in perfect Keltharian. "Sleep now." When the Bright Star failed to report in the next day, Federation Command was not worried. Ships were often late with their reports from the rim worlds. Communication problems were common in that region. It was 3 more days before they sent another patrol to investigate. By then, the Bright Star had vanished completely. The rescue ship found only empty space and the powered-down mining station. "No sign of wreckage," reported the rescue captain. "No distress beacon. It is like they just disappeared." This began a pattern that would puzzle Federation commanders for weeks. Ships would vanish without a trace. Sometimes their crews would be found on empty stations, alive, but with no memory of what happened. Other times, the ships would be found drifting with everyone aboard unconscious. General Tai Jun watched the reports from his hidden command base in the asteroid belt. The old soldier smiled as he read each new intelligence summary. The Federation was growing nervous, but they still had no idea what was really happening. "Phase 1 is proceeding perfectly," he told his staff officers. "The enemy is confused and starting to worry. They suspect pirates or equipment failures, but nothing more." Dr. G1 had finished her analysis of captured Federation technology. She sat in her mobile laboratory, examining alien computers and weapons. Everything she found confirmed what the humans had hoped. "Their technology is advanced but predictable," she reported to the fleet commanders. "They use the same shield frequencies they used 500 years ago. Their weapons are more powerful now, but they fire in the same patterns." The aliens had improved their tools but not their thinking. They had grown comfortable in a galaxy without serious enemies. They had forgotten how to fight unpredictable opponents. Meanwhile, in Federation space, panic was starting to spread among the rim world colonies. Ships were disappearing regularly now. Trade routes were being abandoned. Some colonists were demanding protection from the mysterious threat. Sub-Commander Veltar stood in the Federation military headquarters, looking at a star map covered with red marks. Each mark showed where a ship had vanished or been found with an unconscious crew. "Could this be some new species?" asked one of his officers. "Something from outside our borders?" Veltar shook his head. "The attacks are too coordinated, too intelligent. This is not some primitive alien species. This is something that knows our ships and our procedures." He was closer to the truth than he realized, but still far from understanding. The idea that humans might be alive was too impossible for him to consider. On distant worlds, human sleeper agents watched the growing fear among their alien neighbors. They sent coded messages back to the fleet commanders, reporting on Federation troop movements and defensive preparations. The galaxy was beginning to remember what it meant to be afraid. The emergency meeting of the Keltharian High Command took place in their most secure facility on the capital world. Sub-Commander Veltar had called together the best military minds in the Federation. The holographic display showed a map of the galaxy with dozens of red warning markers. Gentlemen, Veltar began, his voice heavy with worry. We have lost 47 ships in the past month. Our best investigators have found no explanation. Admiral Keksavol leaned forward in his chair. Pirates do not work this way. Pirates want money and goods. These attackers take nothing. They leave no demands. They make no contact. What about the crews we found alive? Asked General Morthen. What do they remember? Veltar touched a control, and the display changed to show medical reports. Nothing useful. The crews report seeing figures in dark armor, then waking up hours or days later. The attackers used some kind of sleeping drug that affects memory. The room was quiet as the commanders studied the reports. Each attack followed the same pattern. Ships would answer false distress calls or investigate empty stations. Then they would vanish or be found with unconscious crews. The attackers know our ships perfectly, continued Veltar. They move through Federation vessels like they built them. They know where every system is located. They know our security, codes, and our communication frequencies. This was the detail that worried everyone most. The mysterious attackers had knowledge that should have been impossible for outsiders to gain. Could we have a traitor? Asked Admiral Keksavol. Someone selling our secrets to enemies? We have investigated that possibility. These attacks happen across too wide an area and with too much coordination. It would require hundreds of traitors, working together. Far from that meeting room, Colonel Dong Hyun was leading his strike team through the corridors of Research Station Alpha. The station hung in space near the edge of Federation territory, hidden from normal traffic routes. The human soldiers moved like liquid shadow through the station's halls. Their enhanced bodies let them climb walls and squeeze through air vents. Their modified eyes saw clearly in the darkness. Target laboratory is ahead, whispered Sergeant Yeon Woo over the team's mental link. Humans had learned to connect their thoughts through tiny implants in their brains. It let them coordinate perfectly without making any sound. Dong Hyun raised his hand to signal a stop. Through the laboratory windows, he could see Keltharian scientists working with strange equipment. On the tables were samples of organic material in sealed containers. The colonel's enhanced vision let him read the labels on the containers. What he saw made his blood run cold. The labels were written in human languages: English, Korean, Chinese, Arabic. These were human genetic samples. Sir, came Yanwu's mental voice, the computers show they are trying to recreate human DNA. They want to study human aggression and fighting ability. Dong Hyun felt anger rise in his chest. The aliens were not content to steal human worlds. Now they wanted to steal human nature itself. The assault on the laboratory was swift and brutal. The human soldiers burst through the doors like an explosion of violence. The alien scientists never had time to sound an alarm. But this time, the humans did not use sleeping drugs. This time they wanted to send a message. Dr. Ji-eun was the team's science specialist. She quickly copied all the research data from the station's computers while her teammates secured the facility. What she found in the files made her sick with rage. The Federation had been collecting human remains from the ruins of Earth for centuries. They had been studying human genetics like they were examining extinct animals. They called it Project Savage Study and treated humans like laboratory specimens. Colonel, Ji-eun said through the mental link, they have samples from thousands of our people. They have been trying to make their own soldiers more aggressive by copying human DNA. Dong Hyun looked at the alien scientists lying unconscious on the floor. These creatures had been playing with the genetic code of his ancestors. They had been treating human heritage like a science experiment. Destroy everything, he ordered. But first we record a message. The recording was broadcast across the galaxy 12 hours later. It appeared simultaneously on every communication network, every emergency frequency, every entertainment channel. No matter where aliens were in Federation space, they saw the same message. The image showed a figure in dark armor standing in what was clearly a Federation research facility. Behind the figure, human genetic samples burned in containers of bright flame. We are humanity, the figure said in perfect galactic standard language. We are not extinct. We are not legends. We are not myths from your history books. The voice was calm but carried a weight that made listeners afraid. Every alien watching felt something primal and ancient stir in their minds. You took our worlds. You built your civilization on our graves. You forgot that we existed. But we remember everything. The figure gestured to the burning laboratory around them. You tried to steal our very nature to copy what made us strong. You will learn that some things cannot be stolen or copied. Some things must be earned. The message ended with coordinates, the location of the destroyed research station. When Federation ships arrived to investigate, they found the facility gutted and empty. On the walls, someone had written a single word in human script. Remember. The revelation hit the galaxy like a shockwave. In every Federation world, panic spread through the population. The humans were alive. The extinct monsters from ancient history had returned. On the Keltharian homeworld, Teacher Velnash stood before her class of young aliens. The children looked at her with fear in their eyes. "Teacher," one small voice asked, "are the humans really back? Will they hurt us?" Velnash did not know how to answer. Everything she had taught about humans being extinct was wrong. Everything the Federation believed was wrong. "I do not know, little ones," she said quietly. "I do not know." Across the galaxy, alien leaders held emergency meetings. Military commanders studied old human battle records that they had ignored for centuries. Historians searched through archives looking for clues about human tactics and technology. But they were looking at data from 500 years ago. They had no idea how much humans had changed during their long exile. Subcommander Veltar stood in his command center, watching reports flood in from across Federation space. Fear was spreading faster than his ships could travel. "Sir," his aide approached nervously, "the outer colonies are requesting immediate military protection. Some are threatening to declare independence if we cannot guarantee their safety." Veltar nodded grimly. The Federation was beginning to fall apart from fear alone, and the humans had barely started their campaign. In the darkness between stars, Commander Hyun Woo smiled as he read the intelligence reports. The galaxy was starting to remember why humans had once been feared. "Phase 2 begins now," he announced to his fleet commanders. "Let them see what legends look like when they come to life." The Federation fleet that assembled at Kepler 442c was the largest military force seen in 300 years. 300 warships from 12 different species came together to face what they believed was the main human threat. Admiral Kexaval stood on the bridge of his flagship, the mighty dreadnought Galactic Pride. The ship was 2 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Around it, hundreds of other vessels waited in perfect formation. "Scouts report no movement from the mining world," his tactical officer reported. "Long-range sensors show some structures on the surface, but no energy signatures." Kexaval nodded. The Federation had tracked the human broadcast to this system. Their experts believed the humans had built their main base on the planet below. "Begin the assault," he ordered. "Show these primitive humans what modern military power looks like." What the Admiral did not know was that 12 modified human frigates waited in the asteroid field nearby. The ships were invisible to Federation sensors, their hulls covered with materials that absorbed energy and bent light. Commander Sungmin sat quietly in his command chair, watching the massive alien fleet approach. His ship was called Ghostwalker, and it lived up to its name. The vessel had been built during the long years of exile, designed to fight enemies 100 times larger. "Enemy fleet is in position," reported his sensor officer. "All ships report. Ready status." Sungmin smiled grimly. The aliens thought they were facing a traditional enemy. They expected human ships to look like the vessels in their history books. They had no idea how much human technology had changed. "Begin attack pattern Omega," he ordered. "Remember, we are not here to win. We are here to teach." The first human torpedo struck the Federation flagship without warning. The weapon was unlike anything in alien databases. Instead of exploding, it burrowed through the ship's armor like a living thing. Admiral Kexaval felt his ship shake and looked at his damage reports in confusion. "What hit us?" "I see no enemy vessels on sensors." His tactical officer stared at his instruments. "Sir, I show massive hull damage to decks 7 through 12, but no explosion signature. It is like something ate through our armor." More torpedoes struck other Federation ships. Each weapon was different, designed to exploit specific weaknesses in alien technology. Some released clouds of metal-eating bacteria. Others generated electromagnetic pulses that shut down ship systems. "There!" shouted a sensor operator. "I have contacts in the asteroid field. 12 small vessels." The Federation fleet turned toward the asteroids, energy weapons charging for battle. But by the time they fired, the human ships had vanished again. Lieutenant HFY piloted her fighter through the gaps between Federation vessels. Her craft was smaller than a shuttle but carried weapons that could cripple a battleship. She moved between the massive alien ships like a fish swimming between whales. The aliens fired at her with their main guns, but the weapons were too slow and too large. They had been built to fight other capital ships, not tiny fighters that could change direction in an instant. Her ship fired a single missile at a Federation cruiser. The weapon looked small next to the huge alien vessel, but when it struck, the entire ship went dark. The missile had released a computer virus that infected every system on board. "Target neutralized," she reported to Sungmin. Moving to next. Objective. The battle became a nightmare for the Federation forces. Human ships appeared from nowhere, struck with impossible weapons, then vanished before return fire could reach them. Alien vessels found their systems failing in ways their engineers had never seen. Some ships lost gravity control and began spinning helplessly. Others found their life support systems working backward, filling corridors with toxic gas. A few ships had their communication systems start playing human music at maximum volume. Admiral HFY watched his fleet fall apart around him. In 6 hours of fighting, he had lost 200 ships without destroying a single human vessel. His remaining forces were scattered and demoralized. "Sir," his communication officer called out, "we are receiving a transmission from the human fleet." "Put it on screen," HFY ordered. The face that appeared belonged to Commander Sungmin. The human looked calm and professional, showing no signs of stress from the battle. "Admiral HFY," Sungmin said in perfect Keltharian, "you came here to destroy us. Instead, you have learned what we learned 500 years ago. Sometimes the smaller force wins." HFY felt anger rise in his chest. "You fight without honor. You use weapons that are forbidden by galactic law." Sungmin smiled coldly. "Galactic law? You mean the laws written after you thought we were extinct? Laws designed to keep the galaxy safe from species like us?" The human commander leaned forward. "We did not sign your treaties, Admiral. We were not invited to your peace conferences. You made rules for a galaxy without humans. Now humans have returned." The transmission ended, leaving HFY staring at a blank screen. Around him, his bridge crew worked desperately to repair damaged systems and coordinate with the few ships still under his command. Back on the Ghostwalker, Sungmin reviewed the battle reports with satisfaction. The humans had achieved their objective perfectly. They had shown the Federation that human technology was beyond alien understanding. Dr. Young-ho monitored the engagement from his medical research ship. He watched as Federation rescue teams tried to help crews affected by human bioweapons. The aliens had no idea how to treat conditions they had never seen before. "The psychological impact is spreading faster than we hoped," he reported to Fleet Command. "Federation medical personnel are finding toxins they cannot identify and viruses they cannot cure." The humans had not killed many aliens, but they had made it clear they could have. Every Federation survivor would return home with stories of impossible weapons and unstoppable enemies. News of the defeat reached Federation capital within hours. Sub-Commander Veltar read the reports with growing horror. His best fleet had been destroyed by 12 small ships using weapons that defied known science. "How many humans are there?" he asked his intelligence chief. "How many ships do they have?" "We do not know, sir. Our estimates are useless. We thought they were extinct. Now we find they have technology we cannot understand." Panic spread through Federation space faster than official news could travel. Colonies that had felt safe for centuries suddenly demanded protection. Trade routes that had operated for hundreds of years shut down overnight. The humans had achieved something remarkable. They had taken the galaxy's most powerful military, force and made it afraid to leave port. Captain Mincio commanded a human stealth ship near the Federation capital world. She watched alien news broadcasts and listened to their military communications. Fear was everywhere. "The enemy is starting to fracture," she reported to Commander Hyunwoo. "Some species are blaming others for the human problem. They think someone must have been hiding humans all along. This was exactly what the humans had hoped for. The Federation was strong when united, but paranoia was making them suspicious of each other." On distant research stations, human scientists worked day and night to prepare new weapons and tactics. They had spent centuries studying their enemies and now put that knowledge to use. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Humans had not become extinct because they were weak. They had survived because they were adaptable, and now they had adapted to become something the galaxy had never faced before. Commander Hyunwoo stood in his command center, reading reports from across human space. Every operation was succeeding beyond expectations. The Federation was paralyzed by fear and confusion. "Begin Phase 3, he ordered. "Target their infrastructure, show them that nowhere is safe." Federation Central was the largest structure ever built by alien hands. The massive space station housed 40 million beings from 47 different species. It was the heart of galactic government and the symbol of alien unity. The station stretched for hundreds of kilometers through space, its crystal towers shining like stars against the darkness. Defense platforms surrounded it like a metal forest, each one carrying enough weapons to destroy a fleet. Subcommander Veltar stood in the central command chamber, watching the defensive preparations. Every available warship had been called, back to protect the capital. 3,000 vessels formed layers of protection around the station. "Sir," his aide approached with the latest reports. "Intelligence suggests the humans are planning something big. Our deep space sensors have detected unusual activity in 17 systems." Veltar nodded grimly. The humans had been quiet for 2 weeks since their victory at Kepler 442c. That silence worried him more than open attacks. "Double the patrol schedules," he ordered. "I want sensors watching every approach route. The humans will not catch us sleeping." What Veltar did not know was that Major In Sung was already inside Federation Central. He had arrived 3 days earlier, hidden in a cargo shipment of medical supplies. His modified body had passed every security scan. In Sung moved through the station's vast corridors like a ghost. His enhanced vision let him see security cameras, and his modified hearing picked up guard patrols from floors away. He avoided detection by knowing the station's schedule better than its own security chief. The human infiltrator made his way to the station's industrial sector. Here, massive machines processed air and water for millions of inhabitants. A small change to these systems could affect the entire station. In Sung opened a maintenance panel and connected a small device to the station's atmospheric controls. The device looked like a standard repair module, but it contained human technology that would remain hidden until activated. "Package delivered," he whispered into his communicator. The signal went out through quantum channels that Federation technology could not detect. 50 light-years away, Commander Hyunwoo received the confirmation. His fleet of 50 ships waited in the shadow of a dead star, invisible to all sensors. "All teams report ready," Dr. So-young announced. "Infiltration teams are in position throughout the station. Our people have been placing devices for the past month." Hyunwoo smiled. The aliens expected human attacks to come from outside, with ships and weapons they could see. They had not considered that humans might already be inside their most secure facility. "Begin the siege," he ordered. The attack started with the lights. Across Federation Central, illumination systems began to fail in a spreading pattern. Emergency lighting activated, casting everything in red shadows. Station Administrator Morketh tried to contact his engineering teams. "What is the status of the power grid?" "Unknown, sir. The failures are not following normal patterns. It is like something is moving through our systems, but we cannot track it." The atmospheric systems failed next. Air recycling units shut down one by one, starting with the outer rings and moving toward the center. Emergency supplies activated. but they would only last a few days. Captain So Young led her assault team through the station's outer docking bays. The human soldiers moved like liquid shadow through corridors filled with panicking aliens. Their mission was not to kill, but to spread confusion and fear. Her team planted small devices that created strange sounds in the walls. Alien inhabitants reported hearing voices in empty rooms and footsteps in sealed corridors. Fear spread faster than any weapon could have achieved. In the central command chamber, Veltar watched his station fall apart around him. Systems failed in ways that seemed impossible. Security teams found evidence of intruders but could never catch them. "Sir," his communication officer called out, "we are receiving a transmission. It is coming from inside the station." The holographic display showed a figure in human armor standing in what looked like Federation Central's main computer core. Behind the figure, alien technicians worked with their hands raised. "People of the Federation," the figure spoke in perfect galactic standard. "You are learning what humans learned 500 years ago. Sometimes the greatest fortress becomes a prison." Veltar recognized the voice from intelligence recordings. This was Commander Hyunwoo, the leader of the human forces. "You built this station from the metal of our worlds," Hyunwoo continued. "You powered it with the resources stolen from our colonies. It seems fitting that it should be your downfall." The transmission showed other scenes from around the station. Human soldiers controlled key systems while Federation personnel watched helplessly. The aliens had been outmaneuvered completely. "We offer you terms," Hyunwoo said. "Withdraw from all former human territory. Provide reparations for 5 centuries of theft. Acknowledge human sovereignty over our ancestral space." Veltar felt rage and fear fighting in his chest. "And if we refuse, then you will learn why legends are feared," came the reply. The siege lasted 3 months. Federation Central remained functional but under human control. The aliens inside could leave, but no new supplies or reinforcements could enter. The psychological effect on the galaxy was devastating. If humans could take Federation Central, nowhere was safe. Alien colonies throughout the rim world surrendered without fighting. Some planets declared independence from the Federation entirely. Dr. Yunji monitored alien communications from her mobile laboratory. The Federation was collapsing from within as different species blamed each other for the crisis. "The Keltharians are accusing the Zephyrians of secretly working with humans," she reported. "The Thessian Empire is threatening to leave the Federation unless their homeworld receives better protection." The humans had achieved victory through patience and planning rather than brute force. They had shown the galaxy that human intelligence was more dangerous than human weapons. Senator Yeonju arrived at Federation Central in a single small ship. She came not as a conqueror but as a diplomat, ready to negotiate the new order. She walked through the station's corridors surrounded by alien dignitaries who had once dismissed humans as extinct primitives. Now they hung on her every word, desperate to understand human intentions. In the great assembly hall where galactic law had been written, Yeonju stood before representatives of 47 species. The aliens who had once ruled the galaxy now waited to hear human terms. "We do not seek to rule you," she began. "We seek only what was taken from us. Return our worlds, acknowledge our sovereignty, and we will share the galaxy in peace." The Federation's response was swift and complete. They agreed to every human demand without negotiation. The alternative was the collapse of galactic civilization itself. As the peace accords were signed, the human delegates smiled quietly among themselves. The galaxy thought they had seen human power during the siege. They had no idea that everything humans had shown represented only a fraction of their true capabilities. The age of human exile was over. The age of human return had begun. 1 year after the Reclamation War ended, Dr. Wu Jin stood on the observation deck of New Terra Station. The massive structure floated in the empty space where Earth had once orbited the Sun. Below him, ships from across the galaxy arrived for the historic Galactic Unity Summit. The station was a marvel of human engineering, built from materials that seemed to grow rather than being assembled. Its biomechanical walls pulsed gently with life, and its corridors changed shape to accommodate different species. The Keltharian delegation has arrived, announced his aide, a young woman named Jin Ai. Admiral Kexaval is requesting a private meeting before the main sessions begin. Wu Jin nodded. The old admiral had been one of the first Federation officers to understand what humanity had become. His fleet had been defeated at Kepler 442c, but he had learned valuable lessons from the experience. The meeting took place in a conference room that overlooked the space where Earth had once been. Admiral Kexaval seemed smaller than before, his confidence shaken by everything he had witnessed. Dr. Wu Jin, the admiral began carefully. My people want to understand. How did you survive? How did you become so advanced while hiding from us? Wu Jin smiled gently. Pain is a great teacher. Admiral, when humans lost Earth, we lost everything we thought made us strong. Our cities, our armies, our governments. All gone. He gestured toward the window where stars shone in the darkness. But we kept what truly made us human. Our ability to adapt, to learn, to work together. 500 years of exile taught us things that comfort never could. The admiral leaned forward, genuinely curious. Your technology seems almost magical. Ships that think, weapons that learn, soldiers who can survive in vacuum. How is any of it possible? We stopped trying to fight nature and started working with it instead, Wu Jin explained. Our ships are grown, not built. Our weapons evolved to meet new challenges. Our people have changed their bodies to survive anywhere. This was the truth that amazed alien scientists throughout the galaxy. Humans had not just developed new technology, they had become something new themselves. Ambassador Chan Ho was leading the main negotiations in the station's Great Assembly Hall. Representatives from 57 species sat around a circular table, discussing the new galactic order. The humans had claimed their former territory without taking anything extra. They had shown restraint that surprised many aliens who expected conquest and revenge. The Human Federation will share our biotechnology with all peaceful species, Chan Ho announced. We offer medical advances that can extend life and improve health. We offer agricultural techniques that can feed billions, the alien delegates murmured among themselves. Human medical technology could cure diseases that had plagued their species for millennia. Human farming methods could turn desert worlds into gardens. In exchange, Chan Ho continued, we ask only for recognition and respect. The galaxy is large enough for all of us to prosper. Captain Min Seo stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel New Horizon. Her ship was preparing to lead the first joint human-alien mission to the galactic rim. The crew included humans, Keltharians, Zephyrians, and 3 other species. All departments report ready for departure, announced her first officer, a Keltharian, named Velnash. The same teacher who had once told children that humans were extinct now worked alongside them. Min Seo smiled at the irony. Take us out, number 1. Let us see what wonders wait beyond the known stars. The ship moved away from New Terra Station, its biomechanical hull shifting and adapting for the long journey ahead. On board, human and alien crew members worked, together with an efficiency that amazed observers. Back on the station, the peace celebration continued. Alien musicians played alongside human orchestras, creating new forms of art that neither species could have achieved alone. Children from dozens of worlds played together in the station's vast parks. Dr. Jiwan watched the celebrations from her laboratory. Her life's work studying alien biology had led to medical breakthroughs that were already saving lives across the galaxy. Former enemies were becoming partners in exploration and discovery. The reports from the rim worlds are encouraging, her assistant informed her. The joint colonies are exceeding all production estimates. Human and alien workers are learning from each other. The integration was happening faster than anyone had expected. Humans brought adaptability and innovation, while aliens contributed stability and established infrastructure. Commander Hyun Woo, now Admiral of the Human Fleet, met with General Tae Jun in the station's military section. The old soldiers looked out at the mixed fleets patrolling nearby space. Do you think they truly understand what we showed them? Tae Jun asked. Hyun-woo considered the question carefully. They understand enough. They know that humans are not the primitive savages from their history books. They know that we survived because we are more than they imagined. And the rest of our capabilities? Those remain our secret, Hyunwoo replied. Peace is built on mutual respect, but it is maintained by mutual fear. Let them wonder what else we learned during our exile. The truth was that humanity had developed far beyond what they had revealed during the war. The biotechnology that amazed aliens was just the beginning. Humans had unlocked secrets of consciousness, time, and space that would reshape the galaxy, but they chose to share their knowledge slowly, carefully. They had learned patience during 5 centuries of waiting. As the summit continued, trade agreements were signed that would benefit all species. Cultural exchange programs began bringing alien students to human worlds and sending human teachers throughout the galaxy. The Keltharian children who had once learned that humans were extinct now studied human history as part of their regular education. They learned about human art, human music, and human philosophy. Teacher Velnash had rewritten her lesson plans completely. Now she taught her students that humans were partners in building a better galaxy. Remember, she told her, class to humans teach us that extinction is not the end. Even when everything seems lost, life finds a way to continue. That is the most important lesson of all. In the depths of New Terra Station, human scientists continued their research. They studied the fundamental forces of the universe, seeking answers to questions that had puzzled philosophers for millennia. Some of their discoveries would revolutionize galactic civilization. Others would remain secret, insurance against unknown threats from beyond the rim. The humans had returned not as conquerors, but as teachers. They had shown the galaxy that survival was possible even after total defeat. They had proven that cooperation was stronger than competition. As the celebration reached its peak, alien leaders raised their glasses in a toast to humanity. They honored the species that had refused to stay dead, that had turned exile into evolution. But in the quiet moments, between speeches, the alien leaders remembered the fear they had felt during the war. They remembered how easily human forces had dismantled their defenses and shattered their confidence. The galaxy had gained powerful allies, but it had also learned to respect the descendants of Earth. Humans were no longer legends or myths. They were a living reminder that in the vast darkness of space, intelligence and determination could overcome any obstacle. The age of human legend was over. The age of human reality would last forever.